Welcome to Flurry Friday, whatever number it is. I think maybe 19 or something like that. Behind the camera is John. Hi, John.
Hello.
Okay, so we want to talk a little bit about a game we just started on. Right now, it is tentatively called G Prime, although that's kind of a working title. We'll see if it sticks. The short story is that when G came out, and we've mentioned this on a couple other Flurry Fridays just to tell you what's going on. When our very first game G came out, that was like Easter 2009. So that's like 3 years ago. Lots happened since then. We've grown a lot. We've learned a lot. We've hired people like Nat who hate to be on camera. But one of the most important things is that if we wanted to release the sequel, which actually has been more or less on ice for like a year, we felt like it's too stale of a story. So one of the ideas coming up was that we would reintroduce the G storyline, although the game mechanic, we're going to kind of put in together what we have learned, at least some of it, right? So from the storytelling perspective, we need to get that story started again so that when F is ready, it's not 3 years later. But I wanted to talk to you guys about some of the things that we're seeing on initial prototypes, some of the stuff that's fun, some of the stuff that you've been excited about.
As far as like the art goes, the first G was all 2D, just kind of hand-drawn art. And something that we haven't done in any of our games yet is kind of used more of a next-gen technology on the art, using the higher-end devices like the iPad 3, the 4S. Like, we'll see if they run on the older ones. But
So, could you explain something that you did? It was all about having a high poly model to start with, and then you did what?
I mean, that's the process most games nowadays use normal maps or some kind of or displacement map or something, but it's the idea you model your model as a high poly version, so it could be a million poly model, it doesn't really matter, and you put in all the detail in the geometry, and then you take a lower poly version that's a similar shape, and you're kind of baking all the normals, meaning how light bounces off that surface of the high poly model. You're like transferring that all into the low poly models.
So, Gavin, could you tell me a little bit about what you have been doing on the tech demo side and what you've been experimenting with?
Yeah, well, in the original G, it was very almost removed, off to the side, and it was very much of an overseer kind of point of view, and we've experimented with bringing the camera more into directly behind the missile, so that you get sweeping over the individual asteroids or gravity wells, zooming through the fields, and just getting those sweeping vistas really into your face, and experimenting with how the control schemes can work with this. Is it too simple? Is it too complicated? How much stuff does the player have to keep track of? How much stuff can we keep track for them? So we've been experimenting with more information, less information, more complexity, less complexity, full 3D, simulated 3D. Are we locked to a plane, or is it a full field? So we're just trying to get a feel for what kind of direction, how much freedom, and all that.
In the end, G is just something that kind of is going back to the beginning of where we started, and we're pretty excited to see all the stuff that we've learned come out in a new version of the game. It's obviously a big change, both technologically, but the visuals are still at the real center. We're trying to get this thing that says that the beauty of the outside space has to really come up. As you said, kind of right up in your face. It has to be powerful. It has to be sweeping vistas. But of course, that's where we got our initial attention and recognition, was on the beauty of G, which was also Nat's art. If that wasn't clear, Nat did the original art too, and now he's also grown a lot and learned a whole bunch of new stuff. He's all what's that Mud Puddle? What's the name of that program? Mud something? Mudbox. Like, you should see the stuff he's busting out in this sculpting stuff. So we're just excited to kind of put to use some of the stuff we've learned in the thing. And for folks who are brand new, probably it'll be a whole new introduction to Soma and the Arc universe. So looking forward to that, and talk to y'all later.